off, what can you tell us about Missouri?
Will be an interesting game. You know, they play very fast defensively. They trap, rotate, so it'll be a good test for our guys just to play against that type of defense. I think we have the personnel that has the ability just to make basketball plays. I think last year, you know, we struggled against them because the skill set of last year's team wasn't quite what this year's team is.
What's it been like to be back in college and working with guys at this age, a lot of teenagers, after spending so long in the NBA and professional ranks?
Not much. You know, the NBA's gotten a lot younger, and you know, you work with all the players, but you know, a lot of times the guys I spent the most time with were the younger guys, and these guys, you know, they'll be there next year. So it's I'm surprised how similar it is. You know, our guys, you know, it's just a great setup for them. You know, they live 30 steps away, and you know, they eat there, and the gym's here in the weight room. So it's just a great setup for them. Just making it easy for them to, you know, to improve.
How much prep work did you do for each guy, whether it be watching video or whatever, before they actually got to campus, knowing who would be here on this team?
I watched film on it, but it's, you know, I didn't have nearly the knowledge the other coaches had that recruited them. I think when you recruit somebody, you really get a better feel for them. So I kind of learned on the fly a little bit, but it was great. Just in college, now you get to spend so much time with the players. You know, when I was in college before, in the summer you couldn't work with them. So you know, it's crazy right now. But we have like 3 months left. You know, I think we've been going at this for about 7 months, and you know, now the schedule changes. You know, even, you know, feels like the last month we've had 1 game a month and, you know, 5 practices, and you know, all through the summer working out, practicing. Now you can see how the practices will be limited. You know, we have 2 games a week, so you'll have, I don't know, I think Coach Cal was breaking it down. You know, we may have 8 practices where we get to go hard that aren't directly after a game or before a game.
Do you get the feeling from the players that they're hungry to improve?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we have a great group of guys. I hope next year's team is like this, but I somehow have a feeling this is a special group. You know, if the group's like this every year, it's, you know, what a treat that would be. No, we have. You know, it's just not even just as players and their work ethic, just to be around them. It's just easy, and just you know, usually every group has a couple guys that just not bad guys, are just difficult. And we just don't have that. You know, and you know, part of it, Coach Cal has set this up in such a way that, you know, like, I think everyone conforms to the group, and it's just you know, just I feel a great situation.
What did you see from the team in the past few minutes versus Florida when they rallied coming from behind? What qualities were there from your eyes?
I think just kind of, you know, I was so happy for Aaron. You know, he hasn't had the preparation and the, you know, prior game experience, and you know, Aaron's obviously a very good player, and it's going to take some time for that to come out. And I think we're starting to see, you know, for him just to be ready for the moment, to make that shot, to make the block before. You know, they're just, you know, they're not afraid of the moment. You know, it's just, you know, we made plays when we had to. And I think we have guys that have been in that situation from a very young age. You know, I don't think this is new to them. I don't think you know, like they're used to a big stage. And I think it helps there. You know, like, I think we're saying, like, Florida may not have played in front of the big crowds that we have all season. You know, even though we haven't had a road game, we've had, you know, 15 to 20,000 people at every game. You know, that's just our reality.
Coach, to kind of piggyback off that, most teams maybe have 1 or 2 guys who kind of carry the load the whole season. Antonio's probably led the team in scoring most of the time, but every single player pretty much on the team's had a big game, an important moment throughout the season. What does it kind of say about the strength in numbers on this team?
Yeah, it's you know, our depth is is definitely one of our strengths. And that the quote that's been thrown around from the beginning, and I think Shea said it to Cal early in the season. Every one of your guys can pass, dribble, and shoot, and we believe that. The players believe that, and just make the right play. Whoever you're passing to can has the skill set to complete the play. So it's very easy to try to convince them to share the ball, play together, because the players are playing with. And just historically at Kentucky, it's about winning. And if you win at Kentucky, the rest takes care of itself.
What kind of confidence does a win like that at Florida, coming from behind on the road in conference, give these guys?
I think it's very big, very important, and I think it's just helps with them belief in themselves, because we are a younger team. That it just lets them know they can do it. And one thing is it's the narrative is that we are a very young team, but I think sometimes it gets overlooked. With what Trey and Antonio, we have two fifth-year guys that are very experienced, played a lot of college basketball, that are playing a lot of minutes for us. So I think that helps us as well.
You said that next year a lot of these guys are going to be in the NBA. Do you already see them kind of taking that professional approach, like mentally?
Yes, and when NBA teams get the players, one of the first things they try to do is teach them to be a pro. There's different people in that capacity, and that's their job, to get professional habits. And I think what Kentucky has done here is they start them early. They teach them professional habits when they get here. And, as far as from, eating correctly, lifting weights, taking care of their body, things are done here the same way they are at a professional level. And so I think the players here have a little bit of an edge because they're used to that already.
What have you seen from Hugo? Where is he in his development right now?
I just see it's amazing the progress he's made. You see the physical difference in his body. I'm not sure exactly, if it's 20, 25 pounds, but you can just look at his body and see the difference. Brady's done an incredible job, incredible job in the off season. Like when I got here, they just talked about how hard in the off season he worked, how much time he spent with Brady in the weight room. So from a physical standpoint, you can just see that. Again, with the injury, I got to spend some time with him early, and then, he's been hurt, now coming back. In his workouts, though, just over the past week, leading up even to yesterday, watching him do live stuff in the one-on-one drills against the other big guys, from where he was when I got here, somehow, without really having the ability to work at it, I feel he's really improved. Just mentally listening, what he's been told in the past with the gain in strength. He's gotten better at just playing basketball. He has two skill sets that are in the future really going to help him in the fact that he can protect the rim and he can play pick and roll defense. And those are two skills that are really valued at the next level. So, low post scoring, the trends of the game, that's not something that's as looked for as it was 15, 20 years ago. Your ability to protect the basket, play pick and roll defense, and then be a roller and finisher, and those are skill sets he has. So I think that's going to be his value.
Obviously, a lot of the work happens behind the scenes, but if we show up to games early enough, it's 2.5 hours before a game, we'll see you going at it one-on-one with Joey or Jordan or closing down on Rob as he's getting threes up. So how much do you still, I guess, kind of relish that work and going with guys, especially right before a game, getting them prepped for whatever's to come?
At the college level, the before game's not nearly as important as at the NBA level because there's just less games. There's the difference in, practice game ratio is like opposite, usually in college to the NBA. In the NBA, there's so many games that, especially the players that aren't playing, you have to get them better on game day. There's 100 days where there's games that if they're not playing, they have to get better. Here, it's a lot less. We'll have time earlier in the day to work with the guys. So the big thing before the game is just getting them comfortable and confident for the game, whatever the player feels like he needs to be ready to play. And that's what we try to provide. And the good thing is, Tyler Ulis, you see, is out there, Zach and Darren, the grad assistants, all the managers, is it's kind of like a group effort. They have another session with Chin and Orlando right before the game as well. So I think it's fortunate that it's just, collaborative throughout the whole staff, that there's so many people working to try to help and make the players better.
What have you seen from Tyler? Obviously, he's a student assistant, a great point guard in college, and sounds like might want to be a coach.
I guess just basketball intellect. I think he just sees the game, and you can see how Coach Calipari values his opinion. And as a point guard, he's played at the highest level. He's played at Kentucky. So I mean, just what a huge resource, especially for a point guard. In practice, he focuses and works with the point guards and talks to them a lot during practice on what they should be, seeing and feeling when they're running the offense. And it's, I think, just an unbelievable resource, especially a lot of times, for the smaller guards, because he knows exactly what they're feeling. So, I mean, for Reed, DJ, Rob, it's, I just think it's, just a great resource for him.
Coach Carl said that when you worked with him, you were a guy who loved point guards. I guess, why is that, and how much of a treat has it been to work with those three guys you just mentioned?
Oh, all three of them are great. Again, with a point guard, a lot, depending on your style of play, it's probably more or less important. I thought 2 years ago Kentucky was the best running teams in the country, and I think we're back there this year. And I think your point guard's very important there. Pick and rolls become, the central point of most teams' offense. I think we're running more and more now is a lot of times your point guard is your decision maker. And so, you need someone that can make plays for others. And I think we're fortunate in that we have multiple guys that can make plays. We have multiple guys that can run pick and rolls. We have multiple three-point shooters on the court at one time. So, again, it speaks to our depth. If you only have one guy that can create a play, there's so much pressure on him. And if the less shooting you have on the court, the harder it is to make plays and less space on the floor. The key is to have multiple playmakers or multiple shooters, and that's, I think one of our strengths.
Did it surprise you that those three guys, or really the whole team, is so capable so early on in the season to do that kind of stuff?
Unbelievable. I mean, just being in the gym with them, just how skilled they are and how well they shoot the basketball is, been very surprising to me. It's like you said, like the difference between this and the NBA, very, very little. I wasn't sure going into the season how good of a shooting team we'd be. I don't think anyone was. And, so far so good. It's been, and it's just a reflection of when they come in and they can shoot. It's, Coach Cal's has the 5-minute shooting. I think they've done, forever here. And the numbers these guys are putting up, is like he's always had one or two guys. We have 5 or 6 putting up those numbers that, are at the elite level. So, it's not a surprise how well we're doing it, but it's like you have to see it to believe it. Like what's going to go from the practice court, to RUP. And, that's what, I think is the key.
A couple more.
Yep.
With Rob, how do you get him to be a little more disciplined without taking away his creativity?
That's what Coach Cal gets paid the big bucks for, and he's doing an unbelievable job. And I think even Rob realizes, the benefit of, how Coach Cal is dealing with him and has him playing. It's, it's just fun to see, because, a big thing is, like, people like, does he love basketball and this? And there's one thing with Rob Dillingham, there's no doubt how much he loves the game. Again, Saturday, after we flew back, Rob's back in the gym. It's his work ethic it's hard to get, him to take a day off. If you go 6 days in a row, you should take Sunday off, rest, and Rob never, I think he went about 90 straight days at one point. It's like in the off season, Rob just, it'll benefit you in the long run. So I think everybody sees his love for the game, his desire to be good. And then it's just managing his game. And, I think he's doing, a great job of, improving in that area and making plays for others. I thought his pass to Reed was a huge play in our last game.
Coach, you all are one of the more efficient teams in the country in terms of scoring on out-of-bounds plays. Just from your perspective, why do you think y'all are so good at that so far, and is that something that you all emphasize a lot in practice?
Yeah, Coach, again, that goes back to Coach Cal and the players. Just, we spend time on it. And, their ability to execute it, and him just every day, that's how we end. You're usually good at what you do, good at what you emphasize. So I think that's been an emphasis from the beginning.
Is part of that just Reed being really good at passing the ball out of those situations too?
I think that helps.
Going off of that, how effective has Reed been, not only at shooting, but being able to facilitate and play defense as well?
Yeah, I think the numbers back that up. I think he, at one point was the most efficient player in college basketball, and his true shooting percentage, his numbers are just crazy. And he, has, a great feel for the game, and then he's combining that, with elite shooting. And I think he's just someone that the other players really enjoy playing with. He's a selfless player out there, and I think he uses his basketball instincts, feel on both sides of the ball extremely well.
You referenced earlier maybe not being super familiar with this year's team just because you didn't recruit them, you didn't go through the process, but I know there's a lot of work to be done with this year's team, but looking forward to next year now that you're more familiar with the 4 guys that have signed for 24. I mean, what are you looking forward to most about working with those 4 guys and improving their game in different ways?
Yeah, just the big thing is, as you work with the players, is just the relationships you build. And just getting to know them better. And a lot of times it's as you work with them and you spend time with them, you're able to get a better feel what they can and can't do. And sometimes you think they're this and it finds out, no, they're actually very good at this. I don't think we, expected coming in the season for Reed to shoot the ball this well. And it's like all of a sudden, no, that's, something that, he excels at. So I guess the biggest thing is just forming a relationship with the new players, getting to know them, and then just trying to figure out and be as helpful as I can to helping them improve.
Coach, what's the biggest challenge in SEC play?
I don't know if I'm the right guy to ask that. I'm kind of, I guess the obvious answer was just every night you're playing a good team and you're playing someone that's that's very familiar with you. So I think you have to go to the next level, to the next action, to the next pass with more athletic teams, not having nights off, and just being ready to play every night. Because no matter who you go against, you're going against a team that athletically is going to be equal to you. That's very familiar with you. So it just takes a bigger effort, and you just can't take nights off in this conference.